TheAngryHoneyBadger.
Hey everyone, it is TheAngryHoneyBadger here, and it is time for another champion build video. Today we will be playing as Janna, down in the bottom lane as the support. Now, historically, I've never been a giant fan of this champion, and that's for multiple reasons. It's typically because a lot of people don't play her right. But we're going to talk about how we should play her a little bit. We're going to go ahead and cover runes, masteries, items, abilities, and general just pros and cons to why she might be a good fit for your team or why she might not be, and some of the strategy that you want to use when you are playing as Janna. So, to start off in this video, we're going to go ahead and kick it off by talking about her abilities so we know what we're talking about as this game progresses. So, starting off with her passive, it is called Tailwind, and what happens is you're going to increase the movement speed of all nearby allied champions by 5%. They have to be within a certain range of you, and if they are, then they are going to get some bonus movement speed, which is pretty nice for team mobility, when in team fights, when escaping, for multiple reasons. So it actually is a pretty helpful passive, and it's kind of unique. I do like it. That much is fine. Now, at level 1, you're going to want to actually put a point into your E ability. Your E ability is the Eye of the Storm. You're going to shield your target. They are going to be able to absorb some damage because of it, and they're also going to get increased attack damage. So we're getting to a bit of a fight. It's actually kind of sloppy. They actually have kind of a damage support. They're going to be rocking the Fizz. I actually pick up the first blood with a standard attack because he started to run away, and you want to secure kills in case they get away, because that would be a shame to not pick up the first blood and that extra gold that it gets you after the 4-minute mark. So that is what we did. Yeah. It was sloppy a little bit, but we picked up the first blood kill, so we actually get more gold out of that exchange. So that's better for us in the long run. Unfortunately, the kill went to me and not the ADC, but still, better gold for our team. But like I was saying, back to those abilities, you're going to get that Eye of the Storm at level 1, and you're going to be maxing this out first, mostly because it's a huge shield, and the damage buff that it gives to your allied AD carry or whoever else you put it on is incredibly helpful, and this is one thing that helps make Janna good if you have ADCs that can really utilize this ability of hers. So that is what you're going to do with this ability first. At level 2, you're going to put a point into your Q ability, which is your Howling Gale. This is your giant tornado that does knock people up. You're going to only put 1 point into it, and then you're going to max it out last. So we put the 1 point into it at level 2 for the crowd control that it has. We're going to get into a little bit of a fight. We knock up the back line as we kind of focus down on this Fizz, get the shield on our ADC, help him, with absorbing that damage so he doesn't die, and then with that extra damage buff on him so he can, deal a bit more damage when he's standard attacking, because you can turn fights incredibly well. I mean, a shield in a fight, incredibly helpful. Here we apparently just keep poking back and forth. Oh, and then Eve sneaks around, picks up a kill, and will fall too. But a shield can be incredibly helpful in a fight against, the enemy ADC. ADC against ADC, that fight can go, pretty even most times. A shield, an exhaust, and ignite, or just a little bit of damage from the support can usually turn that battle. But Janna being able to give her ADC a shield that then also gives that ADC more damage is kind of a double whammy. So it's very, very good for exchanging, and it's going to help us overall through this laning phase. Also, it helps that my ADC build damage, because that's going to go further in those exchanges anyways. So that's your Howling Gale. It's going to knock enemies up. That's what it's going to do into the air. It's going to help with that. You can channel it for a certain amount of time. You can activate it right away if you want to use it again, or use it right away just to peel. You can activate it that way. We're going to talk about when you want to use this ability, and we'll just talk about when you want to use it now. You want to use this ability you don't just want to put it down, let it charge up, and hopefully let it hit people while you're in the laning phase. Rarely will you be doing it that way. The only time you'll ever want to do it that way is if you want to use it for the engagement that way. But typically, you're not even really going to be engaging with this. It's just the world's greatest disengage. You just got to make sure you land it. But you can put it right on you, and it's great peel for when they are on top of you, because it's pretty much not going to miss. And that is going to help just get them off of you. It's really good disengage. It's something that she excels at as a champion, is disengage. So that's really what you want to use it for. You don't want to just let it charge up in the back and just randomly go through and hit people, because it's got a bit of a cooldown. It's 14 seconds at rank 1 with no cooldown reduction, so you gotta be careful about that. You can use it for engage if you're confident on moving in like we just did there, but once again, you gotta be careful. Now here we make a move to use our ultimate to get them against the wall, which worked well, but unfortunately they healed through it. We do pick up a kill, but I do fall due to some turret damage, so we're going to talk about the ultimate too and things that you got to be careful with when using that. But then at level 3, you typically probably going to put a point into your Zephyr, which is your W ability. This passively increases your movement speed, which is pretty helpful. You don't have to buy boots for a long time if you don't want. And then also when you activate this, you are going to deal damage to the target. It is also going to slow them for quite a bit, which is pretty nice. So you can slow your enemies with this. Also really good for either just peeling or engaging, keeping them slowed and dealing some damage to them. And then finally your ultimate, which you'll put points into at levels 6, 11, and 16. This is your Monsoon, which is nice. Now here, you're going to dive through the wall. We got them out in lane. They're going to deal with Rengar. Going to give him the shield, which helps give him that increased AD, which will help him pick up the kill right there before Rengar can escape with his ultimate. But back to our Monsoon. What this does is it's going to knock surrounding enemies back. Anyone within the Monsoon circle will be healed, which is nice, and it will heal for 3 seconds. Now, you got to be careful with Monsoon, because you can actually kill your entire team with it if you do it at the wrong time. So this is something you gotta be careful with. Typically, Monsoon is great for just peeling incredibly well. It can be used occasionally as a hard engage, but let's face it, what I did under that turret was ridiculously greedy and really not advised. Because when you do that, you are then putting yourself out in front of the enemy team and pretty much trapping yourself, usually, in between the enemy team. Because if you use it against a whole enemy team in a team fight, you flash in the middle of them and you separate them all. That can be good if you need to pick somebody and you have a pick comp team. But what happens is they are all around you then, all spread out, and they can just collapse on you, and you are not a tanky support, so you will probably die for doing so, which really then doesn't allow you to peel for the rest of your team. So you gotta be really careful with that. Here we're coming in again. We got Eve in the bot lane. We're moving in. We're gonna get the kill picked up for our ADC there. Rengar does also show up. We're gonna slow him. Eve unfortunately falls. I'm gonna get locked down here. I want them off my face, so quick Monsoon is gonna get them off, but luckily good damage coming in, and we'll be able to kill that Rengar for the team as well. So and you get a little bit of heal. Sometimes I will hold the Monsoon heal if the team really could use the heal, but if you want to do it quick, you know, just get them off you and run out, then that's fine. You don't have to worry about utilizing that heal constantly. It's not always going to be in your best interest to hold on to that heal for a long duration of time, because if you're sitting still healing and then they come and close back on you, then you're just going to die. So it's just great for that peel, so got to be careful with the Monsoon. Typically just awesome disengage. That's kind of what her style is, just great disengage. Now let's go ahead and talk about these items a little bit. We went coin and we built Talisman. Now Talisman's going to help us speed our team up when we want to engage pretty hard. We obviously picked up the Ruby Sightstone as well. You really want that because you really want the wards. You're the support. You are the ward patrol. That is what you do. You are the king of vision. Get it done. Do it to it. I did also pick up boots. Now I know in theory you could probably get by without even considering buying boots, as long as you put points into your Zephyr, and because you max that out second for the slow. But no, here we're gonna use the tornado, knock her up as she ultimates when she jumps on her faces. We're gonna get her off and knock her into the bush. We oddly didn't have vision on her, even though Lucian was standing in the bush, but we got it taken care of. We can save our crowd control to knock her out of her ultimate, because that's what you want to do against Katarina anyways. You want to save you want to save all of that disengage to disengage her out of her ultimate. But like I was saying, is you could in theory get away without buying boots, but if you get boots on her, then you're going to be insane to catch. It's also just going to help you in many other ways. I'm actually going to go with the Merc Treads. I want the tenacity, very helpful. Also, magic resist is going to go pretty far against the enemy team. Since, you know, it's just going to be helpful for many different ways. So that's what we did this game. Obviously, get boots that you think pertain well to however you're going to play in your play style, but that's just what I went with. But basically, we want that Talisman for all that gold generation, helpful to speed our team up. Like right now, when we're getting this fight, we're going to knock the Tornado up, get that Skarner taken care of. We're going to exhaust him too while we pick up kills on both these champions. And yeah, we're just feeding our ADC. We give him that damage buff when we get into team fight, so he can just murder them in the face, really. So you can also put it on whoever is just taking the damage. So also helpful to do it that way too. Protect the people. You can also put the shield on your towers. It also protects them. So you can do that too. It does scale from ability power, so a little bit of ability power on Janna is not a bad thing. It can add up and work out for you as the game progresses. And we'll talk about some other things we're going to do too. But basically, the main ideas about her as a support is like she's kind of like, well, even less so than or even better than Sona, because she's like the ultimate definition of support for the most part, because she's really not going to do a lot of damage. She's not here to deal damage. She's really there to be supportive to your teammates. So that's why we're going to get items that are very, very supportive. You could call it the babysitter route. So that's what we're going to do. Here we're going to peel Katarina off the team with the Monsoon. We were basically waiting for that, which she was going to come in. Our LeBlanc is going to pick that kill up, which is pretty big for us, and that can help us re-engage. We get the slowdown, get another tornado, but not quite the range that we needed on that. We'll be able to take this tower. Lucian's going to stick around, which is a giant mistake, and he will get murdered in the face. Fizz is going to move in now. He does actually pick up a kill. We can knock him out with the tornado, let our team pick this up, and yeah, just you really want to peel for your team. I mean, I sound like a broken record saying this, but that's your job as her. This is what you want to do. So we're going to be building around helping our team, which is why we have just picked up the Aegis of Legion, which will become the Locket of the Iron Solari, helping our team with stats and that magic resist for any of that AoE magic damage coming in, especially with the Katarina on the enemy team, and the Fizz, pretty helpful for us, and will really just benefit everyone to a pretty large amount. So that's what we're doing there. And then obviously you're gonna sell, your trinket and pick up the sweep when you can do that, so you can sweep around the map, because it's very helpful. Keep everything swept, know when your dragon's coming up, which is in a minute, and you can get all that taken care of. So that's kind of what we're doing. Steal the enemy's red buffs, because steal the enemy red buff and then kill him. See, look at that. As he showed up to find his red buff, he was dead. But yeah, that's what you really want to do. Now, just, in general, let's just go over the pros and cons to her. Mostly, her pros consist of what we've covered in this video. It's the strong disengage and the high crowd control that she really brings. She does have that powerful AD boost, too, which can totally make your ADCs, like there, well, I don't even know if he used it at the time, but can help them explode targets because they have that damage on them. So, or that extra damage because of the boost it gives. She's also really fast, high mobility, pretty helpful. If you actually want to get mobility boots, you're like the craziest, fastest warding machine ever. You can get around, it's pretty nuts. So you can do that, it's very, very good. And yeah, that's really helpful. Monsoon though, gotta be careful with that, which is part of her cons actually. Now she is very squishy, very careful with that. Luckily you can peel for yourself because of your high disengage. But she can have a tough laning phase because you have to play pretty passively. I think a lot of people make the mistake of engaging with her Q ability too often, thinking that, like, I don't have to play passive, I can knock them up. But that usually doesn't work, because if it misses, then your crowd control for in-lane phase is pretty much negated and gone at that point, and that's a problem. You can't do that. She lacks damage. Like I said, she's a support. She really is the definition of a true support. She doesn't bring damage to the party unless she's full AP, which is not a support player mid then if you're going to try to do that. But so she really, really doesn't bring much damage to a fight. Make sure you are standard attacking, though, when you are getting into those scuffles in the bottom lane. And then you're also going to make sure that she really has no heal unless it's her Monsoon, which you really don't want to just use for a heal. You want to use it for disengage. Don't just stand behind your tower and use your Monsoon. Go back to base and heal. But yeah, that's going to be Janna. For those runes, armor marks, health seals, magic resist glyphs, and armor quintessences are what you're going to want to take. As for her masteries, it's simple. It's a 921. Or it's 0 and 921, very simple. But everything you need to know is down below, including the full build for Janna. I hope this helps. Leave questions if you have them, but I'll just see all of you guys in the next build. A small fight. Now we're trying to get this wave pushed against the tower. Aurelia's taking too much damage from the minions. I want those to die to the turret anyways, while I'm getting ganked by Elise. Now I can turn on her solo-y because she is also taking minion damage too. So I have minions fighting for me right now. She repels. I'm just gonna start spinning, and luckily we get out of that situation with about 100 health. Not